Welcome to another episode of Storytelling in the Tropics. My name is Allison Harrison. Today I'm in Portland and I'm having a conversation with Alex. Alex is a Myal priest, and on his profile he describes himself as a priest of Jamaican folk religion. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, no problem. So today is a special day. Today is the rebirthing celebration.
Yes.
So before we get to what's happening today,
hmm
let's take it back a little bit. Where are you from?
I am from, well, my mother's side is from St. Mary and my father's side is from here in Portland.
Okay.
Right. So there is a tradition in my mother's side, maternal side, where the woman does not relinquish her surname. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I have two surnames. So I'm Alex Moore-Minott.
I see.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So lineage is very important in our traditions, and lineage is very important in my families, right? So the thing is that I carry both,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so I would say that I'm torn,
Mm-hmm.
right? Half and half. I am St. Mary and Portland, which are adjoining parishes.
Mm-hmm.
So if I say where I'm from both.
So the Moore aspect of just throwing it out there, Moore, because you have the Moortown Maroons.
Mhm.
Are you connected to them at all?
The oral, I am a Moortown Maroon,
Okay.
right? The oral history is that when the war was over, Grande Nanny said, and that's Nanny of the Maroons, in the $500 bill, only female national hero.
Mm-hmm.
She said to the British, we need more town, right? More land,
Mm-hmm.
because her clans were expanding.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the oral history tells us that that's where that Moore name came from.
Mm-hmm.
There were families in Mooretown with the surname Moore,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that that is even further off
Mm-hmm.
in terms of what they would call blood quantum
Mm-hmm.
than my Minot side.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my father's side.
Right.
So I still have, even though I didn't grow up in Mooretown,
Mm-hmm.
I still have first cousins and second cousins in Mooretown.
Mm-hmm.
Minot is a very strong Maroon clan, as they would call it. And even now, presently, there are Minots that are on the Maroon Council in Mooretown, the governance
Right.
body of the council. But the Minots have always been science man, obia woman, right, as they say. And they have always plied their trade in the East. St. Andrew, Portland, St. Mary. So it's a tradition for me.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I am a Blue Mountain Maroon,
Mm-hmm.
or I say Windward Eastern Maroon,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because Mooretown is simply just the capital of the Rio Grande Valley.
Gotcha.
There are about 10 districts in total,
Mm-hmm.
and all of those districts are Maroon districts.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the people that you will see in Portland, and in particular East Portland, and I say East Portland in particular because that's the original Portland.
Mm-hmm.
The West Portland on the other side of the Rio Grande was St. George's Parish. So it was not Portland up until 1886.
Right.
So most of the people, dark-skinned indigenous people that you will see in East Portland are Maroons.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. What do you remember about your childhood? What stood out for you?
Speaking along the spiritual vein,
Mm-hmm.
when I was very young, a story was told to me. Because from I was very young, very vivid dreams, sort of thing. And you know how it is in Jamaica. Most Jamaican youths are not very close to their fathers, right?
Okay.
And it just so happens that my father was he was very fun-loving, you know, and he worked for Travelers Insurance. So he was all over the Caribbean. By the time I was born, he was living in Antigua, right? And so I cleaved more to my mother's side. And so I grew up particularly in Rio Nuevo, right, in St. Mary. And what people don't know about Rio Nuevo is that that is where the Maroon War started, or that's where the British invaded, and that's where the wars began. And we say the beginning of the Maroon Wars because it was there that the indigenous forces met the British. So that's I grew up in a space of history nonetheless. The British did not recognize it anymore as how a compound and Moortown and such are recognized. But I always knew that that side of my family and my father's side of family were, as they call, Maroon. So spirituality, even though I was raised as an Anglican, the belief in dreaming, reincarnation, etc. was always there. And a spiritual destiny. So growing up, I grew up with this story that when my grandmother was pregnant with my mother, she suffered a spiritual attack from people in the community that didn't like her. She was a head nurse for that entire area that they call the Retreat District. And so the priest that healed her, and you're not going to hear me you really use Obeahman and all of these things.
Right.
Because we're elevating ourselves to where we're supposed to be. The priest that healed her gave my grandfather a medicine that its primary constituent was olive oil. So my grandfather was told by this priest, and we recognize him, Lenny Gordon, from Charlestown in St. Mary, that because of the olive oil, my mother would come out with a darker complexion than his first two daughters,
Right.
more olive complexion. Because my grandmother was quite light-skinned because of her Irish heritage.
Right.
So when she was born, that was a sign, you know. And when she was pregnant with me at the age of 33, I was her only child. The same family attacked again, right? And so she was living in Kingston at the time. And so when she entered labor, she was to have me at University Hospital of the West Indies, and her legs started to swell uncontrollably.
Right.
And the doctor said they didn't know what to do.
Right.
So my grandfather jumped in his bus, drove back to the district, and ran to Lenny Gordon. And he gave him another solution. So that was the context under which I was born.
Right.
After that now, at the age of 7, and by this time, we still didn't have landline phones throughout Jamaica. No cell phones yet,
Right.
really, and all of that. So in that district, there were no phones. And he said to me, there's someone that you need to meet. And we drove up into Charlestown, St. Mary, and drove down his driveway, and already there was this man standing in the middle of the yard, waiting. And when we drove up, before we even parked, he came to my door, opened the door, took me by the hand, took me out, and embraced me and said, come. And he carried me into his temple. And so I didn't know that this was Lenny Gordon. And he sat me down and he said, do you know who you are? And I said, I'm Alex. Right? She said, no, you're chosen. Right? And he put his hand on my head, and he said a prayer and invocation, and he anointed me, right? And he said, you have a special calling.
Mm-hmm.
And that stayed with me, right?
You're
That
7 years
stayed,
old, you said, about
yeah,
7 years old.
7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That stayed with me. And, you know, he gave my grandfather some things to make a bath for me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, he's going to do well in school. He's going to go to a very good high school. He's going to go right through, no problems.
Right.
But you have to protect him, or else there will be problems. So that stayed with me because, you know, the impression that because Jamaicans are predominantly Christian,
Right.
the original grassroots spiritual culture is not recognized.
Mm-hmm.
It's a complete lie.
Mm-hmm.
There are still certain families that cleave to that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my...
That was your most memorable.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the spiritual attack,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted you mentioned her leg started to swell.
Yes.
But how can you identify a spiritual attack?
One of the main ways within our spiritual culture that you identify a spiritual attack, when there is an attack on your health,
Okay.
which was the case
Right.
in particular, they say doctor can't find your complaint, right? So we still have that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've seen medical certificates of clear health with sick people, right? There is no medical indication of their issue. And it is a situation where we've heard doctors say, what did your people do before?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Because I went to Campion College,
Mm-hmm.
high school. Well, this is not really a high school because you get a diploma when you graduate.
Campion College.
Yeah, college.
The Campion College.
Yes, yes. So I went to school with a lot of people who are doctors now. And, you know, running into them on the road and think they're like, you know, I love what you're doing, you know.
Right.
Because we're telling people, especially in the rural areas, do what your grandparents told you to do, right? So when that statement comes up, people know what time it is,
Right.
you know. So when people, the problem with Jamaica now is that even though there's a preponderance of Christianity, some people say that spiritual attacks, etc., don't exist. So what do you believe in? Because if you believe that there is good and you believe that there is bad, how does bad manifest? How does evil manifest?
Right.
And the perception is that if you're an Obia man or a traditional priest, your work is bad. And that's one of the main issues with the perception of our tradition today. We battle the bad. We battle evil, right? And there are priests who decide to take a darker route, right? So, as the Bible says, you know a tree by its fruits, right? So, we identify spiritual attacks, especially with ill health, a manifestation that the doctors can't quite put their finger on what the issue is.
Okay. So you were exposed to spirituality from a very early age.
Very early age.
So while you were at Campion, you know, a traditional high school, how were you able to navigate through that experience and still stay connected? Were you still connected with your spirituality?
The spiritual focus drifted because it was a matter of, okay, you're at school. It doesn't matter what school. You know how Jamaican parentage is. You're at school, focus on your book. Right? Take up your book. And then the issue was that being raised a Christian, if I said I wanted to pursue spiritual activity, it had to be in a Christian context. So I said to my family, I want to be an exorcist, right?
Okay.
I want to drive out evil, right? And they said, oh, but that's a difficult way to live. And I said, well, who is going to do it? Someone has to do it.
Right.
There has to be a recognition of evil and the steps to alleviate it. So that was the context that I continued to express myself. But my best friend, who he himself is, I don't know if you would want me to call his name.
No, you don't have to.
So
You don't have to.
I won't. But his mother is Armenian. His father is Guyanese, but as I say, Indo-Guyanese, Hindu, East Indian. And he was born in Moscow because his parents met in Moscow at university. And so very checkered. But one thing about him, and one thing about especially those Eastern European peoples, deeply connected to culture,
Right.
and history and tradition. So when I met him first in first form at Campion, after about 2 or 3 weeks of knowing me, he said, when all of this is over, we're going to have to go up into the mountains to see Alex. And Alex is going to be in a white robe, and he's going to have a stick in his hand, right? And he's going to be on some kind of spiritual guidance mission. So I always had a sense of it was spirituality. Right?
Did you have challenges with bullying because of it?
I wouldn't really say bullying. No, not bullying. I won't say that I wasn't a topic of jokes.
Right.
But at the same time, there was a respect there. Because in almost every Jamaican family, there is an understanding of there being a spiritual realm and there being, so there was, and at that time, I expressed my traditional side more through agriculture and the love of the bush. So, yeah, at the time, everybody was on their lawyer and doctor and engineer thing.
Right.
And I stood out. But there was still respect.
Got you. Okay.
But even now, when they encounter me, they're saying, how can we do what you're doing?
Today?
Yes. How can we live like you? Because we're here and, it's just this situation and, COVID really put things into context for them.
Okay.
The lockdown and the change in structure, they said if I were up in the woods, I would still be enjoying the river, this, that,
Right.
So that really put things in context for a lot of people.
But we had to pause a bit because the time was coming down. What were you doing a while ago?
Well, I was setting the orders, which is the centerpiece of it's essentially the offerings to the ancestors and other spirits that we work with in the spiritual house.
Right.
Because this Kumina occasion is a feast. It's an ancestral feast, and it is a feast not just for the ancestors, because there are different classes of spirits. But it is a feast for all the spirits that guide us, guard us, protect us, ensure our prosperity, that sort of thing.
So it's like you're setting the tone of the evening.
Yes, precisely. So the orders is the centerpiece of the entire operation, the entire feast, and represents the different, not just the different classes of spirits, but also the different ancestors. Because, of course, as Jamaican people, we're mixed people, right? So our ancestry comes from different sides, right? So even though people don't seem to like to speak about it, but real dark-skinned indigenous Jamaican people have ancestry of the first people of this land. And it is something that we continuously emphasize. And within our spiritual house, there is a representation always for them, right? So, you know, you will notice the wild planting leaves on the ground,
Yes.
right? Also known as heliconia, right? Some of the flowers there. You will have the croton, you know, all of these various pieces, and you have different um, alcoholic beverages that are, you know, considered libations, and of course it's different races of people. So we have French brandy, we have wine, we have rum, all of these various things,
Right.
right? So it is setting the tone, and it is a beacon for the ancestors to come and enjoy, join in.
I saw a film the other day, Sinners. I don't know if you've seen
Yeah,
it. Sinners.
yeah, sorry.
So one of the things that stood out for me is that when a musician or you have a talent and you are playing, you will invite spirits,
Yes,
both good and bad.
yes,
From my feeling being here,
yes.
you are not inviting anything negative
No,
here.
no. And the thing is that you you call who you are.
Specifically.
Yes,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So um, preparations began months ago,
Okay.
right? Because as you said, and then even spirits that we don't explicitly invite, it's a beacon. So they'll see it, right? They'll stop by. And we have to recognize, because people always say that, and you know, the concern about bad versus good, and everything is balance, right? So we recognize the fact that you have to have negative and positive. It's not so much good and bad. Good and bad is relative,
Got you.
right? And even negative serves a purpose, right? So in recognition of this, it is a feast that is open, right?
Right.
And we have told the spirits, our ancestors, water spirits, etc., that this is for them specifically.
Right.
But we recognize that light and dark must be balanced.
Right. All right. So just going back to your story now. So we did high school. You went to the Campion College.
Yes.
Did you go to university?
Yes, I went to the University of the West Indies, Mona campus.
Well done. What did you study?
I studied international relations from 2009 to 2014.
2014.
Yes.
Okay.
It should have been done in 3 years, but I had to take a break in 2011 when my mother passed.
Ah,
So I
condolences.
took a year off.
Were there? I mean, tertiary education is different from secondary
Yeah, man, it's a
education.
bit more liberal. It's a bit
Right.
more,
So you
yeah.
didn't have any challenges then
No, no.
with fellow
No, not at all.
classmates or batchmates.
No, and then at the time, as I was starting to really dive into this side of myself, the spirituality, etc., it started to become a serious curiosity for people, because, by this time people are searching,
Right.
right, finding themselves, and was becoming Rasta and this and that, and so we recognize that university, tertiary education is considered in most cases as the time of self-discovery, right?
Yes.
And it in and of itself is an initiation.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So the so I didn't really have, I was never really ostracized,
Right.
ever, right? It was a journey, and even though people are really very interested, this thing that I'm doing, this, they're seeing it, social media, etc., and it's like, wow, people are saying to me, it's really clicking.
Right.
Like a lot of what you're saying, we always wondered, because people in their journey, they run into the different African spirituality, and that's the Ifa, the voodoo, all of that. And everybody wondered, is there anything from Jamaica,
Right.
right? So my my journey is not just to do, but to remind.
Right.
Yeah. The next step was I had a passion for cannabis, ganja,
Okay.
sort of thing. And that passion developed because of scoliosis. I have scoliosis,
Okay.
right? So my spine is shaped like an S,
Okay.
right? So that caused a fair deal of kind of pain,
Discomfort.
discomfort.
Right.
And once I was in university, then I was able to kind of experiment with different medicine and
Right.
things, because they had me on painkillers, muscle relaxants, all of these things.
Right.
And it wasn't working out. Those substances are addictive, right? So I needed something that was going to give me the relief. And I was also not functioning. I was always sleepy with the muscle relaxants. So yeah, it was a process through which that in and of itself was a transformation. And so when I started to use the herb,
Right.
here comes my best friend again, and he says, but you're into agriculture, you're a farmer. Why don't you plant this thing?
Right.
So I said, all right, I will try that. And I ended up living in the Blue Mountains for about 2 years,
Right.
and actually learning from a well-known grower, right? Um, Deeply organic, deeply natural methods of planting.
Right.
And, that was even making fertilizer from fruits, from tree leaves, all kind of things.
Right.
And after that, I took my interest and my research and that sort of thing to the university. And I was able to actually start a growing program
Right.
at the university.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So I did that for some time until there were issues. It was truly internal politics and issues with internal politics. And so I ended up having to leave that behind. And I was in St. Mary for a good while until I decided to get married. Right?
Congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so by 2017, we got married, right? And that changed a lot, right? And it meant that I had responsibility not just for myself, but for another person.
Right.
So that's where I started to delve a lot more into natural business,
Right.
so soap making, making of tonics and, that sort of thing.
So that's what you do now, full time?
I mean, I still, from time to time, I still do it, but the emphasis is more so spiritual.
Gotcha.
Right, more so spiritual. Right, so that is, that was really the beginning of serious spiritual work for me.
So I learned you worked with Chief Corey
Yes,
for a time.
yes.
How did that happen?
Well, in 2019, 2018, my wife wanted to reconnect with her family in St. Elizabeth because she is essentially a compound maroon.
Right.
Right. So in that reconnection, we ended up meeting him. Right. He was just Richie at the time. Right. And we had a lot of bright ideas. There was discussion at the time, but nothing too serious. And they were having some issues with their leadership. The youth especially had serious issues with the leadership.
Right.
And it appears as though the chief at the time there was not wanting to have an election.
Right.
And so things got a bit rowdy. And once it got rowdy, there had to be intervention from the government of Jamaica, all of this.
Right.
And so eventually an election was called.
Right.
And so in 2021, he was elected, and he didn't forget. So he contacted me and he said, look, I need the international relations expertise.
Okay.
And so that's what happened. He asked me to serve the community in the capacity of foreign relations, right? And so I did that for about 2 years, right? And at that point in time, there was a lot of upheaval, a lot of conflict, as it was obvious.
Right.
And so I really knew that I had to take spirituality to the level.
Right.
And so that is what I did.
Yes.
I stepped aside. I said to him, look, I need to step aside to really work on this. And so that's what I did.
Yeah. So you worked with Chief Corey for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then you embarked upon this new adventure of spirituality. I mean, it has always been.
It has always been there.
But deeper.
But much deeper, yes.
All right. Which brings us to today.
Yes.
What's happening today?
So today is a celebration of my succession to the leadership of the spiritual house I was initiated into. This is my first year taking up the mantle of that leadership. And so now the duty kicks in of having the Kumina, right?
Yes.
And as I said, the Kumina is the ancestral celebration. It's a celebration of all the spirits, all the ancestors, all the previous priests and priestesses of the spiritual house.
Yes.
And so it became incumbent upon me now, right? So the burden ended up resting on my shoulders now to really have this. And so it is customary that it is a recognition of the anniversary of your calling, your ascension to the priesthood, your initiation. Yes.
Spirituality in and of itself is a touchy topic.
Yes.
Jamaica has had an Obia law for hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years.
What's your take on that?
My take on that is that one first must recognize that when there became this formal law in 1760, the law was not called Obia Act. The law was called an act to what was it again? It's long. The laws had much longer titles than that.
Got you.
I think it was the act to remedy the evils arising from irregular assemblies of slaves.
Okay.
So this title is literally telling you there was an issue with unity, right? Us having unity, dark-skinned indigenous people, whether African or indigenous American, unity was not something that they wanted. Unity was dangerous.
Right.
And they recognized that unity sprang from spirituality, right? It, just like how the church binds together Christians, our spirituality
And rituals.
our tradition, right? Our customs, what they called superstitions, were our driving force,
Right.
and our unifying factor.
And it was dangerous for them.
For them.
Right.
Because a key tenet of Myal, a key tenet of our indigenous spirituality is freedom.
Right.
Major pillar, freedom. So obviously, this slavery system was a problem.
You're considered a Myal priest.
Yes.
What does that entail?
That entails the reverence of the ancestors, other spirits, healing, herbs, the spiritual practices, advice, dream interpretation, all those things.
So does it mean that you have your own house, or you're still a part of?
I'm still a part of it, but I still have the responsibility of being a separate entity, essentially.
Gotcha.
Right? And running my separate society. So recently, the high priest said to me, carry on. Take it to another step.
Right. Have you ever had anyone come to you with, as you mentioned before, spiritual attacks?
Of course. And
Okay.
that's almost weekly, right? And healing, all of that is vitally important, right? So we serve the community as priests in terms of saying, we heal you, we help you, So even issues of business, prosperity, all of that, we help, we heal, we protect.
What's happening later this evening?
So we're going to have drumming, right? The traditional Kumina drumming. We're going to have food, right? It's a lot of food, but we're going to have food. And it's a time of fellowship. It's a time of togetherness. It's a time of remembrance. It's a time of saying we come from somewhere, and in coming from somewhere, in having roots, that sort of thing, we know this is how we remember. Yes. So this is remembrance.
Okay. And this is something that you intend to keep going
Year after
annually?
Year after
Okay.
year, annually.
Your last few words for the public.
I would say my last few words, remember your roots. Remember your roots, and remember that our ancestors fought for something. And at that time, they weren't Christian. They fought for something. They fought for a knowledge of self that was born out through tradition. They fought for, and they fought with, spiritual technology. And that was the driving force behind Nani, behind Paul Bogle, Sam Sharp. Those people that fought for us, right? Remember yourself. Remember, know thyself.
How important is the balance of spirituality with ecology?
Considering that we also commune with nature spirits, especially water spirits in this spiritual house, it is very important to conserve nature. It's not just important, it's a spiritual duty, right? So you will find me in all of the advocacy, right? Mining on the Rio Grande, the reopening of the Blue Lagoon, all of that we focus on. Because these are sacred spaces for us. It's not just enjoyment and swimming. It's sacred for us.
Yeah, you'll hear some activity in the background because we are outside. We are at the venue where the rebirthing ceremony is happening.
Yes.
And I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you, Alex, for taking the
thank
time.
you.
I see your guests taking their time and coming over.
Yeah, man. Yeah, people are coming over.
This has been another episode of Storytelling in the Tropics. My name is Allison Harrison, my esteemed guest. Thank you very much. Until next time, peace, love, unity all the time.
Peace and love.